Hey y'all, good morning. Prophet Lisa here. I just want to talk about free speech. It's really important that there is free speech. Everybody should get to talk. Everyone should have a voice. Everyone has something intelligent to say. You know why? Because we all went to school. So any of us who had great teachers our whole lives, like I did, all of us in America, we all had great teachers. So we've learned a lot. Therefore, we have a lot to say. I heard a good quote once that said, the best teachers were at first the best students. I always got straight A's my whole life, basically from kindergarten through college. I did get C's in Spanish in college. I guess because I was like, why do I need to learn to speak Spanish? They all need to learn to speak English. And they do, if they're going to stay. That's my opinion on that. Anybody who plans to stay in America for more than a year should learn English well to survive. Anyways, free speech is important. I was thinking the thing that separates America from communist countries is that we're free. We don't ever want to be a communist country. In communist countries, they don't allow free speech. They don't allow talking about religion, Christianity, like I think in China. Nobody's allowed to talk about Christianity. As far as I know, it's been that way for like 30 years. That's why there's the underground church in China. I don't know if that's still a thing, probably. But they all have to like keep it secretive, you know? Like they can't shout it from the rooftops. But then on the other hand, yeah, if you think about that psychologically, if the Chinese did start shouting it from the rooftops and everybody did, that they love Jesus, then would the government be able to keep them quiet? I think it's because people fall in line. The more you fall in line in communism or tyranny, the more that they expect that. You know? So the more that you shout it from the rooftops, your faith, your opinions, whatever, they can't keep everybody quiet. And there's value in hearing what everybody has to say. There's great value because there just is. I keep thinking, okay, there's a verse that says, a man of many companions may come to ruin. But I think there's an alternative verse in Psalms that says something about, in the multitude of counselors, there is great wisdom. And that's the benefit of free speech, is that you have a multitude of counselors, which is what Twitter is. That's what X is. It's a multitude of counselors. All of us on Twitter, we're all trying to counsel each other, and we're all being counseled by each other, which is beautiful. It's wonderful. I've always seen that Twitter is like the ideal church. Like in most churches, you go in, you hear a pastor talk for like 20 or 30 minutes, but nobody else gets to talk. And I always felt like that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Like Paul says in Corinthians, ideally the way that the church should run, and this is how the local church ran that I grew up in with my parents. One person has a word, one person has a song, and people just randomly, this literally was how that church went, people just randomly stand up, like someone would stand up, I have a song to share, to lead everybody in, so they would just sing a song, and then somebody would stand up, I have a prayer, and then someone would stand up, I have a Bible verse I want to share that's been speaking to me. This is why small groups are really awesome, if they run that way. If you have never been in a small group, get in a small group. It can be ran more that way, where it's just random and it's interesting. You don't feel like you want to fall asleep. That's the problem with churches, and people really need to like reevaluate the way that church services are ran. Like, why is it just, okay, we sing 3 songs, someone talks for 20 or 30 minutes, and that's it? Why can't there be more? Yeah, why can't everybody else share? I went to a mega church in California. It was like 10,000 people. And on Thanksgiving, they would have open mic. And everybody, we would all line up, and everybody could say what they were thankful for on the mic. Like, why don't churches do that every single service? You know, you have your 3 songs, you have the 20-minute sermon by the pastor, and then open mic, baby. Open it up. Let people line up, say whatever they want to say, on the mic. And the problem with that is that most pastors don't trust their congregation to say good things. But why not? Trust your people, pastors. Trust them. Trust them that they're going to say something good. Usually people share a verse. They say a prayer. Open it up. And then obviously at that point, if people want to leave, whatever, if they don't like the open mic time. But why not? Why not have open mic in all the church services all around the United States? Speaking of free speech, let the people speak, yo. Yeah, and the multitude of counselors, there is great wisdom. Great wisdom. It's good to not just focus on one teacher, one pastor. You need a multitude of pastors. That's why I like online church, because you can look up anybody at any time, and you all should take advantage of that. Never in the history of the world have we had this, where you can just pull up any sermon on YouTube and be fed, and you can feel fed by different people with different personalities. It's really, really good, to experience different personalities, different people, because different personalities have different views on things, and you got to see things from all different angles to really understand it. If you just hear one person all the time, you just hear one angle. You want to hear all the different angles, And that expands your mind, expands your heart. You don't stay narrow-minded. That's the problem. That's what cults are. Cults are when people just listen to one person and they're not allowed to listen to anybody else. And that's weird. And then everybody ends up weird because, I don't know. Y'all know cults end up weird. I was in a cult for a little while. It was a Pentecostal church, Oneness Pentecostals. They think there's only one God and his name is Jesus. And I tried to question, I texted the pastor's wife one time. I was like, there's 2 times in the Bible where it mentions Father, Son, and Holy Spirit at the baptism and at creation. And she was like, well, we can meet for lunch if you want to talk about that more. But the attitude was, you don't question the way that we see things, okay? This is how we see things. So it's like they completely didn't want to acknowledge God the Father. And for some reason, they didn't want to acknowledge the Holy Spirit, which is so weird because Pentecostals are like all about the Holy Spirit. Very strange. Anyways, it was a very small church, only like 10 or 15 people. But because they were so narrow-minded. And that's what happens when you don't let people speak up. When you don't acknowledge different opinions, you get narrow-minded, you get weird, and you believe stupid stuff like that there's not the Trinity. So watch out for that in regards to like America. Every country needs to be careful of this. You don't want to be a cult. You want to listen to everybody. Because in the multitude of counselors, there is great wisdom. Okay? So keep free speech real, y'all. I mean, obviously, I will say there should be some regulation in regards to, like, verbal abuse or, like, online bullying. Stuff like that should be regulated. But how do you stop people from being jerks? I don't know. Basically, like, if someone comments something that's, like, mean, someone could delete it. Like, I was just reading all the comments on Kamala Harris's recent post. People are still mean to her. Those comments should be deleted. Like, why are people allowed to say such mean things to her? In cases like that, yeah, I don't know if that's abusing free speech. People abuse free speech, the freedom of it, by being abusive. Don't be abusive. That's not nice. Be nice. If you want people to be nice to you, you be nice to them. I really don't like it when people are really mean and attack somebody. And why are they allowed to get away with that? If I was Kamala Harris, I just would stop posting. And I swear, a big part of it is just chauvinism, just because she's a woman. So that's why people think they can do that, and that's why they get away with it. And those comments should be deleted. She should not be verbally abused.